Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be using the new Fox Costumes Before and Afters set from the latest release in Fawn. This is Marker Monday number 10, and I'm going to be using Copics. I've pre-selected a number of them so that I have them ready. I was kind of testing out reddish brown foxy colors, and I ended on the three that I just showed you. So I'm kind of just carefully lining where the darker shadows would be with the E09. I had chosen before E09 to E07 to my third color, but I don't know, the blend wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. The reddish brown section for like foxes, just because that's the color I prefer on foxes, is kind of hard for me. If you have a better combo of like reddish brown, I'm just going based off of the hex chart, but if you have a better combination, feel free to let me know. And then I am using E08. And for their tails, I'm just going to go from E09 to E08, and I'll use the lightest color on the tip of the tail without any blending in that area. Just kind of fill it in. It's very different kind of going from my tri-blends to my Copics because of the brush tip. So I have a lot more control, and it's almost like I forget. I do color in the bat wings and the bat little head that you see in the bottom left by the broom, and I actually accidentally go out of the lines, and I think it's just I don't color with my Copics often enough, and I probably should, but not often enough to where I'm used to having that brush tip. So I'm using my tri-blend so often that I kind of forget like the pressure change that you need to use when you're coloring, or the pressure you're putting on it, I guess, if that makes sense. So I had to get used to the finer markers again, the nicer ones, my Copics, just because of that different tip. So unfortunately, I go out of the lines there. I could just stamp a new one and recolor it. I'm not making a card with these yet in this video. This is just going to be coloring in these images for Marker Monday. I picked a different combination for their faces, and I am coloring all the foxes the same just to make it easier. The faces into his belly, I have YR24, and then I have Y26, which it ends up working out, but it's just one of those colors I just don't like really much. It's just dull. It's called mustard, and it just looks like brown mustard, which I hate anyway, as a food, but it works in certain situations. Every Copic color has a purpose. I just don't love all of them, and I'm sure I've purchased them to fill in holes in my hex chart so that I have, colors closer to others. This one ended up looking good. I think it's maybe just the color on the marker lid that throws me off, but it's one of those dull yellows. And then I had set aside a color for pumpkins, and I think I thought there were more pumpkins than this. I don't know, but it's only his little costume here. And when I was coloring over the face on the pumpkin, I decided to go a little bit darker with YR07 and then just go back with Y15. I think it's YR15, sorry. The face, the ink was like trying to bleed. This is my new MFT Extreme Black ink that I've been loving. Although I did stamp this set twice in my Misty. And so it could be that it's just an excess of ink, and really any ink is going to do that. It's still behaving better than my Memento has been when it comes to bleeding. But I don't know. It's like there's no perfect ink out there. Like no 100% perfect will never bleed no matter how many Copic layers you run over it. Ink pad. But that's fine. This is the best one that I have done so far or used. For the fox with the skeleton body costume, I had an idea to use the glow-in-the-dark embossing powder. And I only have Lawn Fawns, and I've only used it once, and it was a year or so or more ago, and it didn't quite work as well as I thought it should. I know there are more companies now that have glow-in-the-dark embossing powder. I think at the time, Lawn Fawn was one of the first I knew about. But I thought about trying to glow-in-the-dark heat emboss his little fox costume. Not his fox costume, his skeleton costume. But I don't want to I don't want to emboss his whole body and his face. So I thought about taking the embossing pen that I've had forever. I use it here and there when I need to lay down ink just manually somewhere. So using the embossing pen and then tracing where the black is on his costume, and then I could just pour the glow-in-the-dark powder there. So I think that would look pretty cool. B000 is kind of my go-to, like, see-through wing window color, and I usually reach for RV10 for like insides of ears and things like that. It just happens to be on top where I keep my markers. And then I'm just kind of doing a random sprinkle assortment. This R43, the name I cannot pronounce, I'm not even going to try, I don't even know what it says, is one of my favorite pinks. I want to come up with a good pink blend that has that either as the darkest or the mid color. I just haven't tried yet. But it took me a while to buy that pink, but I think it's one of my favorite shades of the Copics. And then we're just going with kind of a teal turquoise frosting, because why not? I wanted to just have a single color on the frosting, but not shading it just didn't look right to me. So I do eventually go back with a darker teal and do some shading. And then the cupcake wrapper, just kind of an orangey yellow. I wasn't trying to come up with a whole new color. So BG34 to kind of go in and give the frosting some shading there. And then I will reblend a little bit with BG11. BG11 is my go-to lightest color in like a teal blend. A lighter teal blend, not a dark teal. So if you're using, oh gosh, I'm not even sure. BG. So like BG49 would be the darkest of a dark teal, for example. But the lightest in that light teal blend for BG11 is my favorite. And then for the sucker, I'm just using single colors. Keep it easy. And then our little chickie will have pink frosting. My favorite pink. I don't know that I go in and shade that one. I think I just leave that as is. But this orangey yellow blend for chicks has been my favorite for a while. I can't recall all the markers specifically, but I did show them to you. It just gives them kind of an orange hue, which isn't normal. They're not completely yellow, but I kind of like it, so I've been using it. And then for the bumblebee, I think that's what this costume is. I'm just filling that in with C9, so you get that black and yellow stripe. And then just a couple colors to make that look cakey. And then I forgot the broom handle and the part that holds the broom bristles together, so I will fill that in before we are done. So hopefully I will make a cute card with this, but I just wanted to kind of color in some stuff for Marker Monday. And thank you for watching, and I hope I inspired you a little bit to color. I will see you guys next time. Bye.